Hey guys, Psychic here, and welcome back to another episode of Antimatter Chemistry with me. Hello, and I have fission and I have fusion. Believe me, I have done more work in between these two episodes than I think I have ever done. Oh gosh. Okay. And some of that is just letting this server run. How do I? Okay. But, oh my gosh. Okay. I don't even know where to begin. Okay, let's just start. Okay, so I have my list, which y'all haven't seen. What I have taken a screenshot of this right here. And I've been in Microsoft Paint, I have been like marking things out in different colors as I do them. And then I have been putting dots on stuff as I create machines. If I get the singularity, it is almost completely filled out, and I will have my little rant at the end for the last one. But I literally am done. I have everything marked out. So we're gonna kind of just go in whatever order, because I honestly have marked it up so much to this point that I can't see the colors very well. You can't even see the singularities. The boxes are full. But we are just gonna go in kind of whatever order I feel is best. So, and I have things marked as new, as I had to go back and watch the last episode to remind myself what I have done. So the main thing, I have gotten all of the compressors that I need for every single singularity. So I've been switching them out as I go. I've been making sure things have been filling up. So these all, for the most part, are going to have a singularity in them. They should, if I haven't already taken them out. So most of these are going to be full. So I'm going to just kind of explain. So like with this one, we were just kind of waiting on the machines, but I was also like, these last few ones here, I think from the scandium that way, just for this little chunk. The tungsten and the thorium I was getting just fine, but some of these other ones I was not. So what I have done, I have expanded upon our little machine over here, and I have added 4 chemical dissolvers that are dissolving more cobblestone from these generators. Now, you can add more generators, because this actually, I for some reason thought this was going to just, like, fill up so fast. It does not. It processes the cobblestone, like, really, really quickly. So even though I have the max tier cobblestone generator, it just eats it. So you can add more generators or just have less dissolvers. It doesn't really matter. This makes a lot of iron for some reason, and I don't know why. But yeah, so I have this going. It goes in actually just mostly directly to the compressors that I have. I don't really need to filter it out. The only thing I think that I have pulling into here is iron. Yeah, because I don't have an iron singularity over here. We decided to do that somewhere else, so I just have that going into our normal storage system, which, by the way, is full of oxygen. I have so much oxygen. So this finally filled up. It's not all emerald upgrades, because I just didn't get that far. It filled up before I could switch them out, but it's 328,000 oxygen. I think we have enough oxygen. But in this chest, anyway, so these are the chemicals that, like I was saying, I wasn't getting a lot of, and even with this upgrade, a lot of these have a very small percentage chance of actually being gotten. So, like, this one is just with andesite, so even with the cobblestone, this wouldn't be affected anything. But each per andesite, it's only 3.77%. So I have this little booklet that I made, because you can create machines or have different ways to get each of these chemicals. I just did not personally feel like doing that at this point, to create the machines. Now, what I did do is what I'm about to recommend. I did do them, I just did not automate them, just so we can get enough. So these have not naturally been achieved through our generator here. If this was running for a lot longer of a time, or if I created more of these quantum quarries, I'm sure this would be a little bit more viable, but for my needs, a lot of these, like, I think, like, this one was only sitting at, like, 100 something. Like, I don't remember exactly, but it was just, like, it's been running for a long time, and I still don't have a lot. Some of it I have taken out of just because we had the other cobblestone generator filling for a long time, so it was just going into my ME system. See, I only have 124 still in here, and I took some out. So I think maybe at most the entirety of this pack I've gotten about 1,000 naturally. It's just not a lot. So here's different ways to get it. So calcium, you can get it from bone, which then you can get either using a loot fabricator, or if you have the mob killer set up like I do, you just get a lot of bones. So calcium, yeah, it is going to be from the hydroxylapatite. I've said that before, but it's just from bones. So you just break down bones. It's really easy. The next one is scandium. You can get that pretty easy using yellow antimatter if you want to go that way. The way that I think I did it is I combined two different chemicals, but I don't remember which ones, if I'm going to be completely honest. Or I used this. Did I use this? No, I did not use this. I did not do that. So it's just number 21 in there. So if we go ahead and grab, I was carrying around the, this a lot, the periodic. So if that's number 21, let's see. I think I was combining potassium and helium. So, because I got a lot of potassium and I have a lot of helium, that would make it. So I was doing that in our little fusion reactor that we have in there. The next one on our list was the technetium. You can either dissolve astatine, which at the time of me writing this, that is actually not real. You can break down astatine, but I was confusing astatine with acinine, I think. Astatine is not something automatable, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. What I would do, which I did the copper and silicon fusion, but you can also do iron and chlorine. Indium you can get from cyan antimatter, or you can fuse gold and He is magnesium, I believe. Mercury. Mercury. He is mercury. Yeah? Hello? No, that's Hg. What's He? What have I lied to myself about? What's He? Oh, helium. Haha. Helium I meant. I got all confused. Helium and gold, you can get the indium. Manganese, you can get that from magenta antimatter or purple dye, so those are two different ways you could do that. I also think I combined that, or I had enough in my system, I don't quite remember. Osmium, you can fuse iron and tin. Platinum, you can use from the laser drill. I've been getting a lot of platinum that way. It's actually a lot faster to do it that way than it is to get through the quantum quarry, so I don't think I had to combine anything. I just had to break down the platinum I already had from the laser drill. Radium, you can get from the mercury and oxygen, or you could do zirconium, and CD is cadmium. Because cadmium I was getting from lime antimatter if you wanted to do that. We already had that automated before. Redstone, I will say, is a lot faster with a loot fabricator than it is waiting for the laser miner to go. And I've been doing this a lot, so I actually added a chest up here full of polymer clay, and I've just been letting this part run. I know it says only 553, that's because I've taken thousands of redstone out of here to do the redstone quest, but so we're gonna stop. But that's pretty much that. I know there's lapis on here. I will explain that later, because the chemical combiner question mark I have a little bit of a rant about, but that's just a personal thing. So those marks out like a ton from over here. So after that, we were talking about different kinds of the different colors of the antimatter. This is empty at the moment. So we had the blue antimatter, purple antimatter, and green antimatter set up. I have since extended that. We have brown, red, cyan, and light blue now. So each of those, the brown is going to make neodymium, as well as samarium. So that marks out those two. The red antimatter, it's actually crafted from iron oxide, which is, we have iron and we have oxygen. I'm not bothered by that. But the only real thing you get from this is the strontium. The iron oxide is actually just going to be used to keep crafting it. You don't need to keep it, but it's something. So it's one of the ways to get strontium. The cyan antimatter I was using to get barium, but you can also use it to get more indium if you want to use that way instead of the fusion that I was talking about earlier. Also gives you tungsten and a little bit of mercury. And I think I used mercury in this one as well. And then the light blue antimatter will give you both niobium and germanium if you did not have the germanium set up through the nether wart. So that marks out all of these. So again, strontium, and then the samarium, neodymium, barium, mercury, and neobidium. There. But But this is not it. This is actually a small fry kind of stuff, because I've created a monstrosity of a alleyway that I've been calling just a mess, honestly. I wanted to have like a really cool like nickname for it. I keep calling it an alley. But it's just a mess. And it's this alleyway here. This is, because this is below where we have our laser miner drill. That's where this pipe goes. And was just the easiest way to get ores. And there's a lot of fusion casings around me. This took a long time and was very annoying to do. But I did it. So now we're gonna learn how we did all these chemicals. Okay, so actually right before that, because I had one other new one over here, which was the palladium, which we talked about before. You get palladium from breaking down palm tree stuff. So it's the same like with the other chemicals. I have like a palm thing up there, and I just have the extra saplings going in here, but it breaks down the wood into palladium. Super easy, all done. Okay, the rest of this we talked about last episode. So let's begin our alleyway adventure, beginning with one that's not even attached to the alleyway. So this is actually a complete mirror of our squid killer over here, and this is also killing squids. And that's because I wanted to be able to make ruthenium, and I decided the best way to do that would just to be combining titanium, because titanium is both number 22, ruthenium is 44. So I just make a ton of titanium, combine them together in our little fusion casing, and you get enough of the ruthenium. That marks that off. Now we're going to start connecting to our alleyway. This is in no particular order. I do know which one I started with, which was gold. So we'll go up there. And let's actually... I have so many doors everywhere. I've expanded the laser drill. So I now have 3 machines instead of just the one. And right now I have them focusing on lapis and redstone. Actually, I have 2 for lapis and 1 for redstone. And I moved our petrified fuel generator over here, and I just have it chugging away. And I actually have several batteries. I don't have, out of all the doors I have everywhere, I don't have a door up here. But I have several batteries. I've had them all up to reinforced. None of them are full, because it's just eating the energy pretty much at the speed that it's being created. But I do have this all set up because we eventually will hopefully be able to get a rainbow generator. But I just have this chugging over here, and that feeds into here. Yeah, and with each of these, just a reminder, you have to have a servo that says it not to take the lenses, because it'll just eat them and pull them for some reason. But yeah, all these are going. I have all of the upgrades in them. Like I said, it's chugging. I don't know if it's technically going as fast as physically possible. It seems pretty fast. That one's probably a little faster than this one, just because it has energy, and this one's a lot slower. I'm sure there's a better way to do the energy, but I'm not doing it. But I have all of this going into this crystal chest here, which this is gotten full several times. I've been pulling thorium out of it, just because thorium, I think, is mined more than the rest for some reason. I'm assuming it's because I'm supposed to supposedly use nuclear craft in this pack, and I just haven't. So, but the first thing I was doing, and that's why I have this chemical dissolver here instead of down there, because this was the first thing I did. I was breaking down gold, and I was breaking down gold because breaking down gold gives you gold, but it also gives you silver and copper, and then I was feeding that into this fission casing, because I was breaking down gold into zirconium and yttrium. So this is one of the ways I was getting yttrium. So I actually have 2, which is great because we needed them. But yeah, so that is one of the ways you can get yttrium. That marks that chemical off the list. From there, I was actually pulling zirconium into this fusion casing, and I was combining that with helium to get the molybdenum. Sure. I don't know how you're supposed to, I can't even pronounce normal English words. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this one, because it's a B and D next to each other. I'm sure there's a very specific way, but I don't know what it is. But yeah, so I've been doing that, and I just have a little bit of a helium collector over here with my battery, and I have that going. Now, each of these fusion and fission, you'll see I have a petrified fuel generator because this actually does the job. And this was easier to me than having to, like, create a network of power, because these batteries they're not fast enough to do these machines, but they are good enough for, like, a lot smaller ones, like the atomizer. So that's how I've decided to get this chemical. I think what was next was this machine, so this fission casing. So this is fissioning thorium, because I was getting a ton of thorium from our stuff. So that dissolves the ore, and then that breaks it down into rhodium. So that's how you get rhodium. You can break down thorium. So that was nice and easy to do that. The next one I did was going to be this one. So this is how I was getting xenon. This is breaking down silver as well as combining it with nitrogen. So silver and nitrogen, combine into xenon. Yay! And then from that, I was like, what else can I use nitrogen for? I can combine that with tin and nitrogen, and that's how you get lanthanum. Lanthanum. I love saying all these words because they're very difficult. So that's how you get the lanthanum. So that is a number of machines. I'm not counting anything. I don't care. It's too many. I'm just glad I can fly because this is difficult to maneuver. So those are all of those machines. I'm going to come back to these two because they make me mad. And then these were, for the most part, the rest of the ones that you just cannot get any other way other than to fuse. In no particular order, I think I did this side first, but I think I hop back and forth. It really doesn't matter. But we're going to go with the organoson, which is the highest number, I think. Yeah, 118. That's the highest number chemical there is. I decided here I was going to combine iron and uranium, because I was getting a bunch of those as well, and that is how you can get organoson. Now, I will say breaking down iron also gives you tungsten and sulfur, so you do have to have a little bit of an offshoot for that. But that is one way to get this one. The one next to me over here is cerium. Cerium, I decided to combine copper. Is it just copper? 29 plus 29 is 58. Yep. I was just combining copper. I thought I were two. But if you do double up on the copper, then you can get the cerium, so that's how you can get that. Next one over here is cesium. Cesium, I decided to combine boron ore with tin ore, and that's how you can get the cesium. Plutonium, I combined silver as well, and I think just two silvers, 47 is 94. Yep, just using silver gets you the plutonium. This is going to be the americium, and that I was combining lead and aluminum, though I did notice, you can notice that this is empty. So aluminum, for some reason, I don't think you can get the ore of. It says that there's an ore. It says you can get it using a brown laser lens. I did that. I never got an ore. I let it sit for a long time, and I never had anything come through for an aluminum ore. So I don't know if it's some weird glitch that I'm experiencing, because it says it should be any. I did the minimum and maximum height. I don't know. I never got one. So I had to actually steal this aluminum from one of the machines that we had over here, which I think was this one, yeah. This, I think, was getting from... What are you? I don't remember. How did I get you? It might be the light blue dye. I don't know. We're gonna assume that. A light blue dye. So that's how I was getting all that aluminum, so I just stole it from there and I'm just combining it. But that is one of the ways you can get American. Not last quite, but the praseodymium I was getting from combining silver. I used a lot of silver. It's like a weirdly nice number to use. And magnesium. So that's how you can get the praseodymium. And this chest was because I was stealing silver from somewhere else. Yeah. So it's like a lot of these chemicals are actually really not that difficult to get. As long as you have a laser miner or something similar to get a bunch of ores, and you don't actually need those ores for much else. Like, I don't need all of this right now. you can use it to combine. So if all of these machines, now power could possibly be an issue in the long run. I have all of these just having the petrified fuel generators. I do have a the fuel. What is the full fuel called again? Pyrotheum. You ever look at a word so much that you just refuse to remember it? So pyrotheum, I have that automated, so it would just be a matter of like coming back and filling these machines every once in a while, because like I have the chemical dissolvers next to it because it just powers it all together. So I think this could be viable. You could also get more laser miners, make it a lot faster, get more machines. There's a bunch of stuff to do that I think you could just power this infinitely. Now, here's the last two. Well, not technically the last two. I'm going to come back to those. This is going to be a little bit longer episode. I hope that's all right. I'm going to come back to those. I'm just going to leave them last because I'm going to yell. So, the Nether Star. So this is new over here. I have decided to automate some of the simulation chambers. So we had this automated, and I'm like, you know what? That's a good idea. So I was like, I need a lot of diamonds. I needed a lot of iron at the time, and I was like, eventually we're going to need to make a lot of Nether Stars. So I was like, it would be probably a good idea to automate that as well. So this is actually hooked up into the energy used here. I added another petrified fuel generator in the back here. So this one's feeding out of this chest, where this one feeds out of just the actual crafter. But regardless, they're both feeding into here. I just fill this with the polymer clay, and it goes. And I just have everything just kind of... I needed dragon eggs, don't worry about it. Just kind of going. I have it turned off, especially because this Nether Star one uses a lot of energy, and I didn't... Once I had this filled, I wasn't really planning on needing any more Nether Stars at the moment. I know I will. But I'm probably going to have this just go back into a drawer instead of that. So, but it's really simple. I just I have it pulling out all of the matter to go into a diamond chest. And yeah, so this is how I've been getting all my diamonds. I know it doesn't seem like I have a lot, but I've been using a lot. So that's why. And now I have so much iron because someone was like, hey, can't you get the iron from the zombie data module? And I'm like, hey, you're so totally right. So I was like, that's a lot easier than just waiting for the iron from the laser miner, and now I can use the iron from the laser miner for other things, which is what we're doing. So yeah, I have this set up so that we actually now have a Nether Star Singularity, because the Nether Stars you only need 2,000 of, and I'm like, out of everything, that's it. And then we also have our Nether Quartz one. That one has a Singularity in it now too. I'm just not going to bother going back in there because it takes a minute to load. I think that's all of the Singularity ones except for these last two because I'm going to scream. Okay, so redstone. These are hooked up to the laser miner, right? And I have two focused on lapis, one focused on redstone. Because the redstone I can also automate from the data modules, which is what we were doing. So I actually have a redstone Singularity, but that's because I've been feeding it more so from the module than I have been feeding it from the laser miner. I've also been doing some manual mining because I made a mine and didn't mine a lot. I was just making holes. I wasn't necessarily aiming for ore. So I went back and like mined all of the redstone I left behind. And that's just how I have this running. Oh, and how this works is it pulls the ore. For redstone, it goes into a redstone furnace. That is what gives me the most. And if you put a flux anodizer in there, it increases your output for the ore. So for redstone, it gives you 6 instead of 4. So that's really nice to use. So I use that. I have a sequential fabricator that just puts it into a block form and then it pumps it into the compressor. The lapis, I used a slightly different thing. I used a pulverizer. A pulverizer will get you... Let's see. Pulverizer gets you 10, where if you just did a redstone furnace, it would give you 4. And I don't know why redstone doesn't... gives you 6. But it also gave you cinnabar. But I have it doing 6 from that, so it didn't really matter. I just didn't want the extra bit. But this will also give you sulfur. So just have that little thing. But then that comes up into the sequential fabricator and then into here. Where my rent comes from. So like I said, redstone you can craft. There is a way to automate it. You just use the... loot fabricator. You can get a lot of redstone. Takes a long time, but you could do it. I just don't agree with having to need blocks of this and also needing 8,800 blocks of redstone. That is way overkill. I only need 2,000, right? 4,000. Sure, we'll do 4,000. I only need 4,000 of everything else. And I say only, but it doesn't take, once you have the machine set up, it doesn't take long. This is overkill. That's like, if I had to turn all this into blocks of chemicals, then I don't know. But this is overkill. And with the way that I have the loot fabricator set up now, it takes about 36 blocks an hour. I let it sit while I was doing some other stuff. It's about 36 blocks an hour, which means realistically to get the lapis, because that's what I did my math based off, because it's 7,600 for some reason. I think I would have to have the server open for like a week straight, just letting things run, just to get one singularity. And I was like, that's not cool, but at least with the redstone, I can speed that up. The lapis, on the other hand, makes me so mad, because, so, I have 2 machines. So the lapis, or the redstone has 1, the lapis I have 2. It still only does about 32 blocks an hour, which when you need that 7,600, it's just not enough. And even sitting here, this is with me mining, hand mining, this is me trying to, I'm trying to get all the different ways. Now, if you want to be technical about it, and I'm going to stay calm, you can craft lapis. You can go into a chemical combiner, you can get sodium, calcium, aluminum, sulfur, oxygen, and silicon, and make 4 lapis lazulis. And then make that into blocks and then go on from there. You can technically craft it. My complaint is that for all of these other chemicals that I have needed, I think the most complicated one, other than these just being expensive to make, I think the most complicated machines I have are over here. And these are only complicated because I'm just counting the number of steps to make it. But it's just, you need a phytogenic isolator to make something. You have to break it down or smelt it, in one case even craft something, and then put it in the dissolver. It's like 3, maybe 4 steps. Not super complicated, just different steps. To make lapis, I need 6 different chemicals, and I'm sure to a certain degree you can make one machine that makes at least 2 chemicals. But in my mind, I'm just going to look at them as the individuals. I would need 6 separate machines to make these chemicals to just make lapis. And I don't want to do that. It just seems overly complicated just to get lapis, which should be a very simple, not uncommon ore. But even with me manually mining for it, I can't find that much of it. And I have fortune on my pickaxe. So it's like, I'm just not finding that much. I just don't see why I need so much lapis to make a singularity. I don't know if it's because this is supposed to be deemed like a common ore. I would get that. But it's not. Or it's not acting like it. Or I'm doing something wrong, which is very possible. But I'm just not... There's no other way to get it other than crafting it or doing the laser miner or go hand mining it. And because I don't want to automate the crafting, I'm just not going to. And we're gonna do something that, whether y'all agree or not, that's okay. I'm gonna do it anyway. I have officially, other than the lapis, have created machines and gotten 1 singularity of each chemical. I have played this pack for over 2 years now. I'm not gonna wait another 2 years for another chemical. I know logistically that's not how the time works. I'm gonna cheat in all the singularities. I have legitimately made machines for each one. I have told y'all some alternatives for ones that I think are more complicated or take a little bit longer. I think that justifies me not just sitting here on the server feeding things energy to just wait. I think that's fair. So from now on, if I need an ultimate singularity, I'm just gonna cheat one in. I think that's fair. So I'm gonna grab all of these, and because I didn't before, and see if we can go ahead. I'll have to cheat in a lapis one, but that's okay. I just don't feel like waiting for it. And you know what? I think a lot of you would understand. I was reading a lot of or trying to do a little bit of research in between episodes as well, trying to see what other people have done. There was this one person that did the most complicated thing I've ever seen in the world, and I wish I remember the name, and it looked cool. And that's all I got. Let's see. Chromium, selenium, germanium, palladium. But what I was going to say was, I was doing that little bit of research and trying to see what other people did, and a lot of people, from what I was reading, kind of agreed where this pack just exponentially gets difficult in a not so fun way. So it's not just me thinking this, and I know that. So, I mean, it's good to know that, but a lot of people I don't even think finished this pack because of that, and I want to try to get as close to finishing as possible. Just out of spite, really. No, y'all know me. I like to finish packs. I don't like to leave things completely undone. I was kind of already planning this where it's like, as long as I made at least one of every machine and did that part legitimately, I don't think it would be that big of an issue to then cheat in the rest. I'm pretty sure I already have. I'm gathering ones I'm pretty sure I already have. My pickaxe. Come back. Oh, this is going to be a pain to craft, isn't it? That one not there. Nope. 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 Nope, because I already have those. Alright. I forgot the words that I was saying. I think I was just saying is like, as long as I did everything legitimately once, it's just a matter of waiting after that. So it's like, I don't think any of us want to spend 20 more episodes just kind of waiting on things to happen without much going on in between. So that's why I'm like, I don't think y'all will mind. I'm not really asking permission, to be fair. I think I already... Oh, I hope I already grabbed those, because if I forgot about them, I'm gonna be sad. Oh yeah, they're in my inventory. Haha! So I think I just need to grab 2 more. Oh. I'm running into a problem. This is full. Oh no. Okay, let me see what else I can shove, because it'll take stuff that already exists. It's just not going to take the new stuff. Okay. Another star. And then this one that I'll need to cheat into lapis one. And I'll be so happy with that. Ooh. Another star. This is still chugging, right? Nope. Nope. No. It's empty. Well, I don't need to fill it anytime soon, so... Unless I decide I want more lapis. Not lapis. Darn it. / game mode creative. Lapis. Just 1 singularity for me, please. / game mode survival. There we go. Okay. So now the big question is does it's probably going to have to be in a certain order, because every time I do this, it's in a certain order. And I can't hold all the singularities in my inventory at once. No. Oop, don't lose that. Because if I do this, yeah, it's not going to let me. Darn it. Okay, I'm going to quickly get this together. Okay, and luckily... This is an order in the ME system, so I didn't have to think about too much other than grab and go. But the last one we have is the nether quartz. It gives us an antimatter catalyst! We finally completed a quest. It's been episodes. Oh my god. And of course, no reward. But that's okay. Because that's going to open up the next one for a pure antimatter ingot. It says, you have done it. You've created pure antimatter. Congratulations, but you still have to create the tools of ultimate power. And that'll be after we get the pure antimatter ingot. But that's going to have to be a different time, because I still do need... I do think I have everything I need for this stuff, honestly. I just need cheat and some more of these antimatter catalysts. But I have other things I need to talk about real quick before we do... Why does that do a line? Anyway... I did a couple more things in between episodes with some more new signs. So I did do a side quest here for some of these lazy AE2 stuff. There was no reward for that, unfortunately, but it is done and I don't have to think about it anymore. I did do a quest for these glyphs, which would be like, they don't have crafting recipes. I had to look it up, but there's this thing called a drawing table. And it's really easy to make. It just requires some wood, crafting table, unprepared stencils, which is just iron and some paper, and then a sketching pencil, which is coal and some sticks. And you just take some of these unprepared stencils, put it in here, and it'll give you options for like letters, glyphs, and you just hit print, or you can print and take it out, and you just submit it. And I was able to do that, and that gives us a llama trophy, so that goes there now. Ouch. Okay. And then the last thing, which this is going to be another thing I cheat. Now, before you say anything, you're like, Zykic, you're doing a lot of cheating, and I'm like, I know. This was a separate thing that I was also really angry about, and I'm going to show you guys this. So I'm going to leave this here for safekeeping. I have learned how to break bedrock. This is all thanks to a YouTube video by Phoenix SC. Yeah, SC. I will leave the video in the comments below if y'all are interested in watching it. But Antimatter Chemistry, at least the version that I'm on, is in version 1.12. So some of these newer versions to break bedrock, which requires a trapdoor for you to crouch under, is not physically possible for me. Crouching is not a thing in this world. But this is one that works for 1.12, and you can see why I'm angry at this hole. And I'm going to quickly show you guys how it works, just as a testing. This doesn't really need to... I would do it in the hole, but I don't feel like setting that up. So what I'm going to do, though. So you need a piston, a dragon egg, which I know for a lot of places will be expensive. We have the ability to craft these, thankfully, in this world. Redstone torch. You don't need any buttons. That's just a thing that I have. And a bunch of redstone and maybe some repeaters. And then about 2 chunks away. One of the main things about this is you will need to set your render distance all the way down to 2. Or as low as you're able to do if you're on a multiplayer server. This has to be extended based on how much the multiplayer server is on. Phoenix does explain it a little bit better than I am. I didn't mean to do that. So if you, like I said, you can go there. So I'm gonna do, that works. So you have to actually have this set up. I am too far away to do that. Okay. Set up in a way that you have a powered redstone torch that will be unpowered if you put redstone on it. See, that turns off. You are then going to put a dragon egg on top of the extended piston. Okay? Real simple setup. Then you are going to walk as far away as you can until this is out of your render distance. So you see it just fades at that point, and I just want just a little bit later. You need the extenders to make sure this reaches. You're going to flip your lever and turn everything on. Turn it back off, and then you will run, and you will see the egg is gone, but not really. For some reason, there is a glitch that happens where the egg drops, but it's not able to tell that there's a block underneath it, and so it just deletes it. So that is how you can break bedrock, and then you can get your dragon egg back however you can. That's why I have buttons everywhere at the moment, because this was the easiest way for me. But yeah, you just do that a ton of times. Now, where my anger comes from is just how this world is set up. So most super flat worlds, which is what we're in, will have either 1 layer, sometimes 3, of bedrock. And the quest for this pack is to get to 69, 69, 69, very clever, of every world, which I was able to do in the Nether. I was able to do that in the end, and I was able to do that in the autumn, because these are all just like very easy to get. The default Y level for bedrock in this world is Y level 100, which should have been my hint that this was wrong, but it was not for some reason. So I was like, oh, I just need to break a bedrock layer or 2. I have the ability to fly now. So I was like, I'll just break the bedrock and then jump into the void. So what I have learned is this just keeps going down. And I will be honest, I did do this before because I just wanted to see how much farther I had to go. And usually when you go into spectator, if you are in a solid block, you will just not see anything around you until you hit no longer solid blocks. And what I learned is, you see this, so you can see the world that I'm in. You won't be able to see up because it's just solid block up. But you also don't see down. And, yeah. I'm just gonna go there through spectator mode just to get the quest. But do y'all see how far down I would have to go? I don't know if it's going to count this because I'm a spectator. There we go. Do y'all see how far down I would have to go through this bedrock just to get that quest? I'm not doing that. It's just, it's doable. I just showed y'all how I was doing it. And with this 3x3 square, it's just like I would do the middle and then I would do each side, and that's just that's just so I can keep fitting pistons down there, and this redstone I can have going down when I'm using my antimatter, and it was very doable. It would just take a really, really long time, and I just don't feel like spending that time on just breaking bedrock for no reason, really. There's no, like, if this got me into the void, that'd be cool. At the bare minimum, I could say at least that's cool, but it's not even really doing that for me, and I don't need, it's not dropping the bedrock or anything like that, so it's just not something I'm interested in pursuing still. But that's why I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and show y'all that it is possible. I did go down 10 blocks, 9 or 10 blocks. It is something you can technically do. I'm just a little aggravated because I don't understand why there's like 100 layers of bedrock in general. I don't understand that for the life of me. So, rabbit, what do you do? Carrot. Okay, I'll take that. I think that's all the new stuff I've done in between. I said new there, I said new here and there. I don't think I had anything new other than what we were talking about with the singularities. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this extra long episode of Antimatter Chemistry. There will be more episodes. I still have to craft the rest of this stuff, but a large portion of it is just me going to be cheating in the singularities. The rest of this I actually can legitimately get at this point because I'm able to automate diamonds, nether stars, and I do have a lot of the neutronium, not ingots, but I have the nuggets going, and I do kind of want to upgrade this at least to the max because that is a quest. I will just see how long that takes, but each of the items needed for this is also automatable, and I can now use the redstone for this instead of pumping it into a singularity. So yeah, so that I can do all legitimately, and I'll just take a look at some of these because most of these are like you just need the basics. So we will do that, and I will take a look at some more of these side quests and see what we can do and how complicated those will be. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I do apologize for any ranting or just anger that I've had over some of the quests in these packs. It just seems a little ridiculous for some of the requirements, but I do think that this particular mod pack maker, he also made Glacial Awakening. He's just kind of known for that sort of stuff, so it's done. I'm just not going to spend any more time waiting on things to process that I am physically able to do. Just waiting is the big thing. So yeah, but if you have any tips, tricks, or anything like that, please put it down in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I think I'm done rambling. I've been recording for over an hour, so bye-bye.